What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about KTA, Keeta, the cheetah today. Before we get started, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into it, okay, guys? Here we are. It is the 23rd day of October, and we are at about 58.6 cents now, 10 hours and 4 minutes left. I'm going to tell you guys in this video, you're going to be the first to hear it, but I actually bought more KTA on this dip. Yes, we went heavy into KTA because I'm expecting big things to come from this listing. Normally, I would never buy a Coinbase listing or a Binance listing, and this might come to bite me in the ass. It's very possible, but I'm expecting this listing to actually be beneficial. There has been moments where Coinbase has listed coins recently that have allowed it to grow. Right, it just depends on how it's listed. Right, KTA did not pay to be listed on Coinbase. It's more of an organic amount of growth from this listing news. I think that there's a lot of continuation to be had here, and I think it's obvious that what we have right now is a V-shaped recovery. Now, V-shaped recoveries typically they perform one of two ways, right? One, you get a symmetrical V, but typically you get this part of the V, the second half right here, this part of the V, which we're on right now, is typically faster than the first half was. And the trick here is, where did the V begin? Because with V-shaped recoveries, you typically stop where the V formed. And there's two ways to look at this. Either the V started here or it started here. There's a scenario, I suppose, where it could have started back here, but I'm thinking more so that this V either started here or here. So depending on this V-shaped recovery, we're either going to see a move that takes us just above 80 cents, probably right there, and then we stop, and then we correct, and then we come back down, and then we move up, whatever. Or we're going to rally all the way up to about $1.30 and beyond, and they'll probably stop there. It's very common in V-shaped recoveries to stop right above, even here, look at this. This is kind of a V-shaped recovery. You stopped right above it, right there, and then boom, then you went down. I would say that's more of a failed W overall is really what that is, but we're getting into semantics here. Overall, I really do believe big things are coming for KTA. I want to point out, first off, Aster's just in the dumps. I want to point out B3 base token. This is a coin that did not pay to get listed on Coinbase. It was just listed on Coinbase, and the days that followed, 1, 2, 3 days that followed, we literally saw from a low to a high a 345% pump. Toshi is another coin that I believe did not pay to get listed on Base because it's just a meme coin, or on Coinbase here. From a low to a high in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 days, you saw 7x in growth. Okay, crazy stuff. KTA, I can only imagine we'll do something in between, right? We've seen a 3 to a 7x in the first week of being listed from the low to high. KTA was listed yesterday. Let's just take the low, and then we'll do a 300% growth. 300%, you guys, takes us to new all-time highs. So if we see what B3 saw, or we see what Toshi saw, which both had low market caps when they got listed, KTA's got a relatively low market cap as well, we could see some intense growth, you guys. Something certainly from here, we're at 58.8 cents now, something that I think would at least push us above $1, if not to new all-time highs altogether. This isn't even the best chart. This doesn't have all the all-time history, right? The all-time history for KTA is on this chart right here, on Dex Screener, right? We actually have the all-time history here on this, with the trading view chart. It stops here in May, but with the Dex Screener chart, we've got this all the way back to March, all the way back when we were first. I forget when we first started talking about it. Actually, let me look here. What was the first video? I'm just gonna type in KTA on my YouTube search feed, show all, and then we'll just scroll to the bottom. So we've talked about this before. We've talked about this a couple of times. 31 videos on KTA. Wow. The first video I ever made was KTA 1000x potential, and that was in March 17th. So that was right here, right in the middle of this expansion here, and then we grew. We've been following it for a very long time, and the purpose here is to just address that we got very close to this point here. Now I don't think that we are going to touch this point, right? Some people have worried about that, right? They're saying, well, we can't find support here. This is in the middle of nowhere's land. And I will agree. I will say, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's very odd to find support here. But I think we're in odd kind of circumstances, right? We have a bullish kind of upbringing forthcoming in the crypto markets right now. You just got listed on Coinbase in the midst of this forthcoming. People are talking bullish things about you on X.com. We'll go over that in a second. And typically these listings with Coinbase, especially whenever they're not being paid to list, KTA is just listing organically, they typically do result in some phenomenal expansion in a very short amount of time. Now, we do sell off, right? After major exchange listings, you typically do look to sell off, and we probably will sell off at some point, but I think that we've got higher prices to go before that happens, right? I don't think that we're going to come down here and find support here. I think the reason why is because if you're looking at TradingView, and most trading bots, they probably go off of the TradingView charts or other charts. If we're looking at KTA here, this is the all-time history. So in a sense, you did still find support in the middle of nowhere's land, but it was your all-time low by this chart, right? They're not taking into consideration this chart. So I think the average trading algorithm is probably not basing its statistics or its areas of significance off of this chart. They're probably basing it off of this chart. And in which case, again, if we take a high here or a low here to a high there, you went right to your 2618, the golden extension, the double golden extension, right on the money there. From a low here to a high there, you found support directly at your 1272, right? Which is, on this chart, the most significant extension that we have, because that's from your very significant low to high pivot here, and you're just showing immaculate support there. I would think that we continue to go. When we do see prices above the golden ratio here at 67 cents, when we get above, let's just say 67.5 cents, when we get above there, we've not only validated that this is the low, but we validate the idea that we actually will move up and take out this high. Typically, when you hit extensions like this, and then you come back up, you do whatever it is that you're doing down here, and then you come back up and you're above the golden ratio, now is the time to start looking for the extensions from this high to this low, which the first target is 251. The golden ratio target would be $4.59 right here, 251 to 458, 459. That is the primary target zone, and from here a price of about 59 cents. The minimum target then would be about a 4x. The maximum target would be about a 7x, and KTA will hit these targets and beyond by the end of the year, and potentially by the end of the month. Who knows? Like crazy stuff is coming our way. I actually want to look at KTA here. Let's see. KTA. We're just going to type in KTA Keeta. Okay, I'm just going to type that in, and we're going to press enter and see what comes up with this here real quick. Because there's a couple of accounts that have recently been talking about it that I didn't even know they were bullish on KTA as well. I mean, looking at this, that chart's not in log, but hey, I like it. I don't know. You're just taking a low. That's kind of weak in my opinion. I don't like what's the significance? Like what? Like I don't know. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But I don't think that we're gonna move like this. I think we're gonna move more like this right now is probably what's gonna happen. Right. This has us moving up to new all-time highs at the end of the year, if not 2026. I think that's too low. One of the largest CT accounts out there. Luke Belmar, yeah, this guy has turned into the biggest KTA bull. This is actually what I wanted to talk about, because he actually has been bull posting about KTA, which I find interesting, right? He's got 717,000 subs. He's not the largest CT. There's a lot of larger accounts, but he's one of the largest ones for sure. He's definitely an influencer of significance in the space and in other spaces as well. KTA is currently trading at $250 million market cap. Yes. KTA is 1,000x better technology than XRP. We're not going to say that for the XRP army, but it might be. It just might be. I think KTA is interesting, you guys. There's a lot of interesting things about it here. Hold on. Let's see. Where is, there we go. Right here. Yeah, Luke Belmar posts the white paper. He posts the white paper, and he says it in his very nonchalant kind of way. This is telling people, do your research, get into it now before it's too late. This was 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago, you guys, we look at this here on a 1 hour time frame. 3 hours ago, we were at the top, to be fair. That might have been a massive top signal right there. But this was 3 hours ago. And again, one of the biggest accounts talking about it here. There's some other stuff that I want to talk about. Let's see. Hold on. Let's do latest. I don't know if I want to do latest, because if we do that, there's probably so many people talking about KTA right now. Let's see. Where are we? Keeta Maxi. There's Keeta Maxis. Coinbase listing. Keeta was all the proof I needed. Meme coins with zero value are worth more than the XRP killer. LMAO. This is too easy. Teleport me to $5 now. Only autistic friends understand. No, but seriously, look. I don't think he's wrong. $5 might be a bit much. I genuinely think that $5 might be a bit much, but I would think something from, we will hit $5. Don't get me wrong, probably by the end of this year. But we're probably, I don't know. High to low, 516 is a target. Why is that a target? Hold on, let me see. Did I do this wrong? Maybe I did this wrong. Oh, okay, I know why. Because if we take this high to low, it depends on how you want to do the fib. If you take this high to low, the golden ratio is up here. I think it would make more sense to take this high to low, personally, where the golden ratio therein would be about 450. Either way, the minimum target here is at 245. And then if we look at the other one, the minimum's at 275. So either way, we're probably going to see prices well above $2. That much I can get on board with. And we're probably going to see that happen again by the end of this month of October, if not sometime very, very soon. I think we're going to move up to this area. Straight V-shaped recovery overall. We might find turbulence again at the top of this V. We could find turbulence. Maybe it's at the top of this V that we find turbulence, whatever it might be, and then we continue to rally, though. I would expect some kind of bull flag-esque look to happen either at like $1, let's say like $1.30, $1.40, if not about 80 cents there, something like that, and then we'll continue to rally. But people are bullish on KTA, you guys, and there's a lot more than just sentiment that is bullish for this thing, man. Massive discount, absolutely massive discount. Really, if we're looking at this here, a lot of people are looking at it like, I'm too late to the party. From a low to a high, we're already up 113%. It hasn't even been a week. But the reality is without this little divot here, we're actually at some of the lowest prices that we've been at throughout this whole range, really, right? Without this little October 10th aftermath divot that we had there, okay, without that little sell-off pressure, what we're at is actually a very prime opportunity. Most people historically probably wished that they bought KTA here, and I think as time goes on, it's only going to be, that point's only going to be reinforced. So I really do believe that we have a lot of growth to go. Daily time frame here, looking at the RSI, overall kind of a downtrend, right? We've got lower highs and lower lows, but even with that, if we're taking these highs into consideration here, something like this, we have more growth to go. If it's like this, we still have, I guess we're more likely to break out from here. Maybe we find resistance right here. It could happen. I actually like that line more. Maybe we find resistance here. So let's look at the short-term stuff and see if we do continue or if we're stopping here. The stochastics are overbought, which is very bullish. Overbought does not mean bearish. Overbought is bullish. Typically, you see your best work happen once you finally get overbought. And the MACD is still way cooled off here. Have bullish divergence going on, forming some bullish momentum here with your histogram, and you're on the come up right now. I definitely think that we're going to continue to rally. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame here. 1 hour time frame. Rejecting the overbought zone is not a good look, and that's probably why we came down to the degree that we did, but I don't think that that's too intense. I think that that's fine. We've rejected the overbought zone before, and we still grew afterwards. Could we come down a little bit? Sure, but that's fine. If we're looking at this on the stochastics, looks like we want to come down a little bit. Typically, you go from the overbought zone. Once you get out of the overbought zone, you go oversold before you come back up, right? You got out of the overbought zone here, and you got oversold before you came back up. Out of the overbought zone here, you got oversold before you came back up. But still, I would expect that we come back up. These moments where we've gotten oversold, those two moments there, just most recently speaking, you know, they resulted in little crashes like this. They gave us higher lows overall. So can we go? We're at 58.7 cents. Can we go down to about 51, 52 cents? Sure. Maybe we go down there, we find a higher low, and then we rally. But we're likely going to rally. And going into the end of the day, I do expect some bullish stuff to take place going into the end of this week as well, and the end of the month. The MACD looks bullish. We love to see that there. The 4 hour time frame, 4 hour RSI looks immaculate. 1 hour and 51 minutes left. I would like it if this candle came up and closed green. We're down 6% right now. It'd be nice if in the next 2 hours we could come up and close green. I think that looked really nice. Only because then we're not rejecting the overbought zone for a third time. I would like it if we actually got into the overbought zone instead of just in and out, right? Like if we had some consistent living behavior up there. I guess we don't typically do that though, do we? Let's see. You know, something like this. Or something like this. This is what we need. Something like this, right? We haven't seen that kind of stuff since May of this year. I want to see something more like that. And don't get me wrong, we're definitely showing some strong readings here. Being above the 60 predominantly is very nice to see. But I don't think that this move has topped off yet. I think that when it does top off, we're going to see some higher readings in the RSI, probably at the 80s or the 90s even, something like that, and then we'll have our top. We've got a lot of growth to go. Stochastics look bullish overall. Again, typically you go from the overbought zone. Once you get out, you go to the oversold zone. The fact that you're finding support here at the 50 is just a testament of strength. Finding support where you found resistance before, where you found resistance before, and support before back here. It's a testament of strength, if anything. You do have bearish divergence on your 4 hour stochastics, for being fair. Or maybe you don't. You have a lower high here, but you have a higher high here. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't have bearish divergence, actually. The MACD is actually building bullish momentum. You got rid of your bearish divergence, and now you're continuing to grow. Everything about this is bullish, you guys. So, again, just closing thoughts here. Looking at the daily time frame. The 1 hour time frame might be a little bit shaky. The 4-hour time frame is very bullish. The daily time frame is at a place where you're at kind of a make it or break it moment. I do actually like this trend line a little bit more than the first one we drew. Oh wow, look at that. Actually, we've broken it. What was the? I swear we drew this before and you actually had a resistance point. We definitely have not moved up that much in this amount of time. Maybe I just didn't have it drawn at the right place. I don't know. That seems appropriate there. That seems appropriate there, just like that. So we have broken out. That's actually bullish. That's a really bullish sign right now. The reaction we're having off the oversold zone, very bullish indeed, my friends. Very, very bullish. Just like here, this reaction off the overbought zone, that was very bearish. Let's look and see what happened afterwards. I mean, you saw a drop, a pretty intense drop. We're not even, as far as size goes, and size isn't the most important thing out there, okay? But maybe it is. In this situation, it certainly, I think, does matter. As far as size goes, this move off of the rejection of the overbought zone is pretty comparable to what we saw here with this rejection of the oversold zone. The only difference here being that, here you were down at the 40, you were all the way cooled off, you're down at the 40, where here you're not even at the 60 yet. So I think that we have more to grow. I think that we do have more to go on this move overall. And again, just in comparison to what Toshi and B3 did, I really do believe that we have a lot more growth in a very short amount of time here. The MACD is shaping up perfectly. It looks really, really good, actually. Overall, to be fair, it's kind of bearish. Having the oscillators below the zero is a bearish thing, but this bullish divergence is, I mean, it's hard to be bearish whenever it looks like this, honestly. And the stochastics are bullish as hell. Anytime you're overbought like this, ideally you would like to stay in the overbought zone for quite some time, and that's where you do your best work, right? We got overbought here. As soon as we were overbought, that was about right here. Was that the end of the move? No, the move was just getting started. We got out of the overbought zone. It had been some time. We got overbought here. Was that the end of the move? No, the move was just getting started. You know what I mean? Here we are getting overbought again. Once we got overbought here, was that the end of the move? No, the move had more to give. Although I wouldn't say it was just getting started. It probably was coming to an end. But even the point remains still that we still grew afterwards, right? We still had more growth afterwards. Is grew a word? Like to grow in the past? Have grown? We've grown. I might be better. I don't know. Is grew a word? Because I've said that like twice now, and I'm like, grew. Is that even a word? Grow. Grow. It's grow, not grew. Is it growed or grew? What? The correct past tense of grow is grew. Okay, so grew is a proper word. Grew to massive extents. I guess grew is a word. Yeah, okay, cool. Anyways, it just, sometimes words sound funny. I am grew. Anyways, the point being, every time we've gotten overbought, we've seen continued growth afterwards. We grew every single time. And I think we're going to get that here, especially with the break of this downtrend that we've had really since May. Massive, massive stuff, you guys. It's all coming. And again, to end the video here, I'd like to talk about where we're going to go. I guess on a weekly time frame, I do like to take this high to low. It would make the most sense. Where we're going to go, let's be more conservative because this target, the minimum is 275. And I'm all about it. 275 to 516, I'm all about it. As we build higher, as we show significance at these various fib levels, maybe we will start to use this fib if it's more respected. But to be conservative, to set ourselves up for a surprise instead of disappointment, 244 minimum, 443 maximum, somewhere in there. I would expect that we're there by the end of the month, guys, somewhere in this zone here. Genuinely, I think we're going to explode through the freaking roof. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye.